HOA Karen painted over Walkway got fined $160,000 and made to scrub it clean herself. In the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, where manicured lawns and picket fences defined perfection, Karen Whitaker was the self-appointed guardian of order. At 52, with her crisp blouses and unrelenting stare, she chaired the Homeowners Association with an iron grip. Rules were her gospel, and deviation was her enemy. Every blade of grass, every mailbox, had to comply or face her wrath. But no one could have predicted the storm that would erupt over a simple concrete walkway and a young artist named Mia. Mia, 22, had moved to Willow Creek to care for her ailing grandmother. An art school dropout with a quiet passion, she painted to cope with life's weight. One sleepless night, inspired by her grandmother's stories of wildflower fields, Mia slipped out under the stars and transformed the dull gray walkway outside her home into a vibrant mural of blooming daisies, roses, and lilies. Each stroke was a tribute to her grandmother's fading memories, a burst of color against the neighborhood's sterile uniformity. By dawn, the walkway glowed, a masterpiece born of love. Karen noticed it immediately. To her, it was vandalism, a garish rebellion against the HOA's sacred bylaws. At the next meeting, she slammed her gavel, her voice trembling with fury. This is not art, it's chaos. That walkway is association property, and it will be restored. The room fell silent, but Mia, standing at the back, pleaded softly, "It's for my grandmother. It's all she has left." Karen's eyes narrowed. "Rules are rules, young lady. You'll learn." The next morning, Karen took matters into her own hands. Armed with a can of gray paint and a roller, she obliterated Mia's mural, each stroke erasing hours of heart-wrenching work. Neighbors watched, some in shock, others nodding in approval. Mia arrived just as the last flower vanished under the gray tide. Tears welled in her eyes, but Karen stood tall, unapologetic. "This is how we keep Willow Creek pristine," she declared. Word spread fast. The neighborhood's younger residents, inspired by Mia's quiet courage, rallied on social media, sharing photos of the mural's brief beauty. Hashtags like SaveMIA's Art and HOA Tyranny trended locally. But Karen doubled down, issuing Mia a $500 fine for unauthorized property alteration. The HOA board backed her, as always. Mia, heartbroken but defiant, refused to pay. "It wasn't just paint," she whispered to a neighbor. "It was my grandmother's smile." Then came the twist no one saw coming. Old Mr. Thompson, a reclusive widower who rarely left his corner house, emerged with a bombshell. A retired lawyer, he'd kept meticulous records of Willow Creek's founding documents. Rifling through yellowed papers, he revealed a forgotten clause. The walkway wasn't HOA property, it was public land, donated decades ago to the town. Karen's act of painting over it was, in fact, vandalism. The crowd at the next HOA meeting gasped as Thompson laid out the evidence. His frail hands trembling but his voice steady. "You've got no authority here, Karen." The town council acted swiftly. Karen was fined $160,000 for defacing public property, some calculated from cleanup costs, legal fees, and punitive damages. Worse, she was ordered to scrub the walkway clean herself, under the council's supervision. The news hit like a thunderclap. Karen, once untouchable, stood humiliated as neighbors gathered to watch her kneel on the concrete, sponge in hand, scraping away her own gray paint under the summer sun. Mia stood among them, her face a mix of sorrow and quiet vindication. As Karen scrubbed, something shifted in her. The weight of her actions pressed down, heavier than the sponge in her hand. She remembered her own childhood, drawing chalk flowers on her driveway, only for her mother to scold her for making a mess. Had she become that same rigid enforcer? For the first time, Karen questioned her crusade for perfection. But it was too late. The council ruled that Mia's mural could be restored, and volunteers stepped forward to help. Karen, however, was ostracized, her HOA throne dismantled. Mia's grandmother passed away a week later, never seeing the restored mural. At the funeral, Mia spoke softly, her voice breaking. "She told me to keep painting no matter what, so I will." The walkway bloomed again, more vibrant than before, with neighbors adding their own to chase a handprint. A tiny sunflower, a heart. It became a symbol of resilience, a canvas of community. Karen, meanwhile, faded into the background. She sold her house months later, unable to face the neighbors she'd once ruled. The mural remained, a quiet rebellion against her legacy of control. Some whispered she'd learned her lesson, Others believed she'd never change. The truth lay somewhere in between, buried in the gray paint she'd scrubbed away. The story of Willow Creek's Walkway spread beyond the suburb, sparking debates about art, freedom, and the cost of rigidity. Was Karen a villain, or a product of a system that prized conformity over compassion? Was Mia's mural a reckless act or a gift to a community starved of color? The answers weren't simple, but the mural stood as a testament to the power of creation over destruction, of heart over rules. What do you think? Where does justice lie in the clash between order and expression?